Hey, and welcome. Yes. Hey, and welcome, you guys. Before I get started, let's remind you to do all of the things. Stick around to the end of the video. You see the bottom. Hit that like, comment in the comments section, subscribe if you haven't already. Please, 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 and thank you. And please turn your notifications on. Your girl is back on the scene. I'm down here, y'all. I'm down here. I'm on the screen. Thought about being off the screen again, but I'm down here just chilling out, trying to get this up to you. I wasn't feeling so well. I was a little bit under the weather. In the future, I'm gonna try to have Friday be the day that I get these videos out, but fingers crossed. It's a lot easier to do a live than it is to do a pre-recorded. Don't ask, and get it up. I wasn't feeling well, and then I ended up falling asleep. I was listening to somebody else's live, and I was like, I'm gonna just take a little break, and then I'm gonna go do the doggone thing, and I fell out. Anyway, y'all are not here for that. You're here for College Hill Celebrity Edition Season 3, Episode 3, Trials, Tribulations, and Tutors? Question mark. So Saucy is still trying to get to the bottom of Bianca Gate, y'all. Claudia and Karlous, now they had a pact that they wouldn't sell each other out. So, because Saucy was making the rounds, and Saucy's like, you don't give I take your baby vibes. And he says this to Claudia. I was like, really? Okay. She's like, no, I don't. Okay. So she's like, let me pull you to the side. So she pulls Saucy to the side outside. And it's funny because he was to the side, but he wasn't really to the side because it was like people still walking around in the background. And she was kind of like absolving everybody, like, he didn't do it, she didn't do it, he didn't do it. And she's like, listen, you left the baby there and I decided to play a joke. I thought it was going to be funny, but he's annoyed. Like, he's getting up. As soon as she says that, he's getting up in the middle of this conversation talking about I'm a Libra and, you better stand on business. Or he was about to stand on business. And it looked like these two were going to be headed back to square one, but they decided to talk it out and squash it. He got there. He wanted better from her and their relationship and the same. So they exchanged phone numbers. They hug. They move on. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. One less thing of drama we have to see in this household. So Karlous finally gets back, and outside, Nick has a conversation with him. And he talks about him, how he was with the professor and how he was kind of coming for Nick's neck a little bit. And Nick kept it real cute and real light. And I appreciated him for that, because the way Karlous called him stupid and everything else, it really could have gone left. I know he wanted to stay on the show and complete it, but still, it's just kudos to him. He's like, you don't understand you and your feelings. And Karlous like, no, I don't have no feelings, especially where that's concerned. So he said, Karlous says he's going to put what he knows to the side for the good of the project. He's going to do his part, and he's going to try to put all the rest of the stuff over there. Thank you. Please, I hope you stick to that. So now they're going over homework because they got lots of it. They have several different assignments due at the same time. That's kind of where we round our night out. We wake up. It's day 4. Everyone is ready except Saucy. Now they're all on this bus and they're about to pull off and leave him, or Sprinter, or whatever you want to call it. Angela decides to go back for him, and she gets Saucy on the bus, and it's one band, one sound. How he wanted last time he got left is one band, one sound. And okay, clap, 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 because he done already missed at least one day. So Angela is kind of talking to Tamar about what happened last time. She's a little apprehensive going back to this class because they're walking into Introduction for Converged Media Writing. I believe that's the title. Like I said, feel free to get down in the comments and correct me. And the topic for today, or the theme, is finding your voice. What are you willing to pay a price for? Use your platform with not about to edit that. What are you willing to pay a price for, and use your platform that you truly believe in? So we start talking about Ida B. Wells, because she is the inspiration. She's a journalist. She did a lot of writing about the civil rights. If you don't know who that is, Okay, I won't judge. Just run your Googles, okay? This is part of why I love them going to a HBCU, because we are Black focused. We get all these Black facts, and I just love to see it. Look, your girl loves being Black. I root for everything Black. Like, if you notice, a lot of my content is Black. I watch everything. Now, don't get me wrong, because your girl loves true crime, and I watch everything. But my people is my people's. So the quote that they're going to be kind of focusing on is, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them." That's the quote by Oddity Wells. So they're gonna break up into groups of two and produce a Gen Z focus group to convince them to get behind an issue and to advocate for it using their voice to shed light on it. This is our focus. So once they get back to the classroom, they're going to deliver a 30-second public announcement. Baby Angela was already shaking in her boots. So Claudia and Tamar, they are a group. They're going to do voter registration. We see them go through the process and talking about why it's important, to get the young people out there voting. So now we get to the section where they have their PSA. Claudia's like, listen, in Louisiana, in the last election, out of 3 million registered voters, only 1 million people actually turned out to actually vote. Baby, I take voting so seriously. I take voting so seriously. Like, the ancestors died for us to have this right. Now, what I have gotten better on in the last couple of years is I always faithfully, since I've turned 18, registered to vote. Even when I didn't get my license on the first go around, I got my voter registration complete, and I voted in my first election. I voted in every single presidential election. But what I have been doing better is, I wasn't doing so great on the local elections, and those are the ones that really, really, really help the community that you're currently in. So I've been doing better about, like, I think last year, or yeah, I was like, I'm tired, and I jumped up like literally in my pajamas. No, the year before I ran in my pajamas. Last year I think went right after work and did it. One other year I went right before the polls closed with my pajamas on. I was like, and did everything. So I stand decided, okay, we got to get things moving. And I know it's a lot, and I don't want to get very political on here. Politics and religions I kind of stray away from, so I won't tell you how to vote, but I will tell you that it is very important that we vote in this next election, Black people, especially. So Karlous and Nick are tackling women's rights. I said, "Ooh, how ironic." So for their PSA, Karlous is like, "No one likes to be told what to do and don't." And then he brings up Roe v. Wade being recently overturned. Baby, the way that boiled my blood, affirmative action boiled my blood. And these are all voting things, because if we don't get the right people in office, if we can do things like this, and we can, MGA, MAGA, the whole situation. So he says, hashtag keep men out of women's business, hashtag protect my Black queen. And I said, okay. So Claudia in her confessional says, now, if he can only approach their homelessness issue with the same sensitivity, we'll be good to go. And I was honestly waiting for the shoe to drop, because Karlous is giving that vibe. Like, I say something nice, then I say something nasty, but he kept it cute, and we were good for this. Angela and Saucy will be talking about openly gay rappers. She says it's been hard for him in the industry. Folks felt like it was a gimmick, but he's opened a lot of doors for the community. And now Angela is far more comfortable discussing somebody else's adversity, if you will. Also, his issue, I feel, is kind of a bigger issue. Now, they filmed this around Black History Month, but it is Pride Month. So I just thought that this went beautifully and perfectly. Your girl stands up and that's ally for Pride also. But she was far more comfortable talking about this. She was nervous getting up in front of the class speaking. I can relate. So she's telling Santana's story about him being judged. And so she wants to do some TikTok challenges over an open verse, hashtag true to you. I meant to go check before I came and record this to see if anybody, if she had done it, if anybody was up on it. And everybody's kind of proud of her for moving forward. She feels great. And I love how at the end of the class, the teacher kind of checked in with her, gave her some positive words. I was like, you love to see it, because a supportive teacher can go a long way. Shout out to the teachers. Love you all. Brandy Yvonne is a teacher, y'all. I love teacher. Couldn't be a teacher. Love teacher so much. Super, super, super important. So their academic advisor comes in to check on them. And Angela's like, listen, I like the classes. I like the professors. We're getting a good little balance. Tamara's like, yeah, I like the classes too, but it's a lot of homework, girl. It's a lot of homework. And I didn't expect that. And they're looking out the window because Saucy was the one mainly, but they feel like they're missing out on all the fun. Everybody's on the yard like, oh my God, a HBCU is everything. But she's reminding them like, listen, you're in an accelerated program. And Claudia's like, can we get some more of the balance? Like, can we get a little bit of this and a little bit of that and get the full college experience? So Karlous is like, listen, it is tough. I have not been in school in 20 years. But the advisor, who's a doctor, whatever her name was, says, listen, you're getting a certificate. And as long as Xavier's name on it, I want to make sure that you guys earned it. And I said, yeah, because they do not play. So she's like, just pace yourself. And he's like, they haven't, we haven't gotten to do anything. And for all his complaints, the advisor's kind of giving him pushback. And the housemates are kind of over Karlous at this point. But for every reaction, there's an action. For every action, there's a reaction. She has an answer to everything he's saying. So she's kind of telling them, listen, if you guys are getting overwhelmed in the classroom, don't hesitate to reach out. Also, attendance is important. Now, Saucy didn't like that because we know Saucy has had an attendance problem, but he didn't like the fact that she kind of like sneaked it in there and wasn't direct. And I was just like, child. So Nick had kind of made a comment to try to stick up for him, but Karlous is being Karlous. So, they want to know like why Karlous is so mad, and they're trying to figure out how to proceed because Karlous done what the advisor done left. Karlous done left. Angela's like, I'm gonna just let him rock because I'm not trying to approach him and have no conversation with him. So I'm gonna let that man do what he want to do, and I'm gonna steer clear, I think is what she said. But when they get back to the house, Claudia's like, she decides she's gonna confront him. So they're sitting outside, and she's like, you're being disruptive and a little harsh. And he's like, I don't see it. He's like, I'm not knocking stuff off the table. Like, I'll knock all this shit over, or saying, like, I can't learn anything from this. Or she's like, but it's your tone, right? And I'm like, now I know he's a comedian, so he has to know the power of his words. And his confessional, he says, he's not the problem. I said, ooh, okay. So she's like, listen, we're in a group. We represent each other. I want us to look at it and for it to be a good experience. And she wants them to look good too. And in her confessional, she says she believes deep down inside he's a good guy. And I said he very well may be trolling. And by the time we get a little bit later in the episode, I think that's what we were getting. So he's like, listen, I'll lighten up, but I'm not the only one that needs to have this conversation. And we kind of pan to Saucy. Not you throwing Saucy under the bus. Yikes. And I have not been a fan of Claudia in the past, admittedly, but I like to see how she's handling herself in this house and on the show, even with Bianca Gate. Like, I wish she had kind of fessed up a little earlier so he didn't miss class, because that part of it I didn't like, but I like that she didn't throw Karlous under the bus. She kept it classy. She finally, she's talking to Karlous. So I like the way she's handling herself around the house. Not combative, and a compliment for her coming from me says a lot. So the next day, Derek, Angela's boo, is coming to visit. And I said, why every time they say Derek, do I think of Derek from TikTok? Oh my God, baby. If you know, you know. If not, Grandma fell. What happened? I pushed her. You guys gotta go watch it. It's whatever. So anyway, they're talking about the experience. She's got no glam. She can kind of just be herself and just get the things done. But she's also having a little bit of solitude without the kids, even though she does miss them. I said, oof, baby, solitude. Yes, we get away from y'all. We be missing y'all, but you need to get that little peace of mind. And she says she's worried that, running from her past will catch up to her. I said, for sure. I said that in one of my other recaps. You got to go through it. You can't go around it. But he doesn't seem to think that that's what she's doing. And he sees her as caring. And he's just kind of giving her that energy burst that she needs to keep going. And he seems like he's a cool guy. And I really hope he is. I really, really hope he is because she deserves that. And I would hate for it to be anything other than that. Baby. I was relating when Carlos said it had been 20 years. Now I have enough credits for an associate, but I did not get my bachelor's degree. So I got somewhere between 60 and 70 credits. So if y'all don't know, that's about 2 years left, and it'll take longer than that. But I really, 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 once I get these kids situated and within the next 5 years, 5 years, yes, within the next 5 years, would like to go back and finish my bachelor's. Now, I miss actually sitting in a classroom. This go around, I'm going to have to sit in front of this computer and get it done. But I don't know. I just like to see them, see them doing the doggone thing. Moving forward, shout out to Miss Misha. So for their poli-sci class, they are going to the Covenant House. Let me just change this really quickly because I absolutely love this picture. I'm going to keep this up for the rest of the recap. They're going to the Covenant House. Now they serve young people experiencing homelessness. And so they get to meet with some of the young folks and they're introducing themselves. One lady, she's 22 and she's a mom. She's got her new little baby. They're so super duper cute. Another one is pregnant. She's originally from, or I guess she was from there, and then she was in the Middle East and she came back and, now she's pregnant. And, she's doing 3 days and they're just, talking about the things that they've been through. And Claudia was asking kind of what it was like before they were in Covenant House. Now, there's one man in particular, and we find out he's 23 years old. He said, he had his car. He thought he was like well established and he was moving around and he was kind of traveling. And then he got into a bad car accident and so he lost his means of work. And that's kind of how he ended up there because they provide food. They provide, different things at Covenant House. So Tamar and the others are like tearing up. And honestly, I not just tear, I've had a full-blown cry session. As a mom and just as a person, like, how could you not? It was just so touching to hear everybody's story and hear what everybody's been through. And honestly, like you haven't been homeless, but I've been through my struggles and I just can't imagine it. It was a lot. One of the guys there is very excited to see Saucy because, he's also from the community and he's like, kind of uplifted him. And Saucy talks about his hardships and the things that he went to and how his parents weren't that accepting initially. And, the lights being out and all the things that he went through, but he sees himself in the guy and he's telling him to, just be yourself. So now Karlous, he gets in his feelings, like in a good way, seeing the, I'll say kids because they're like in their 20s. Like I call my oldest son, he's 22, my adult child. Like I birthed him and he's very much an adult, respect. But that's why I say kids, because they're not really kids. They grown. The one lady got the baby. I was mad. Everybody was holding that baby. Carlos was like, give me that baby. Angela was holding the baby. I was like, oh my God, can y'all stop all holding that? Ooh, I cannot stand a whole bunch of people holding a new baby. It's just a thing I have. Anyway, so he is talking to the kid, and there's somebody, Aristotle, who I was not really familiar with. I'm going to have to go look him up. But Carlos FaceTimes him. That's one of his friends. And him and the young man are talking, exchange information. He's just trying to help him along. Carlos also gives him his number and says they're going to keep in contact. And he says, it gives him the fuel that he needs to work the bill out. And I was like, oh, and that's why I had to get this picture and put it up here because my heart was full. I said, oh my God, come on, Carlos. Now, if we could just stick to this, because I foresee that Carlos is still going to give us some BS going forward in the season. But for the moment, we love to see it. So everyone is hard at work at home later on that evening. They got their assignments. But Saucy is headed to meet the tutor. And Tamar is like, with a full beat? Get him, Tamar. So now he goes downstairs and Carlos is like, oh, he's taking his stuff very seriously. He's like seen him take a shot, but he was like, okay, well, maybe that's his method. But then he goes and changed clothes real quick. I think Nick tried to call him out before he's rushing out of because everybody kind of knew that wasn't tutor hours. It was hysterical. So now Carlos is FaceTiming his lady, and Claudia and Angela kind of coming in and having their pizza, having a little chat. And sis was like, and then Claudia, I think, was like, we had to check your man respectfully, sis. Like, no disrespect, but we had to do it. And she was like, no, hold him accountable because he likes to be the class clown by default. But on the inside, he's a good person. She was like, yes, yes. So he was like, I know y'all not. I know I won't ever FaceTime you again on this show. Cause she was like, let me get your Instagram so I could slide in your DM so you can check him when he's acting up. I said, okay. But you know, I just liked it. He was cool with it. He was, you know, we like Miss Lady, okay? Because somebody definitely needs to tug at his collar and get him in order. So a little bit later, Tamar is in the bed and she gets on IG to find Saucy partying down, shaking something, throwing something, I said, having a good old time. And Tamar's like, see, because we need to talk, because it's a school night. We got to get up early. And then, you know, everybody's talking about like, oh, we want to, because I think Karlous was in the room at that part. We want to party. We want to have a good time. And that's essentially where the episode went. Saucy went to go see the tutor, baby. That's why the tutor is that question mark. Okay. Baby, this show is a mess. I love it. It's got its ups and downs and everything in between. Which when it gets a little boring, they're gonna throw a little something at you. And that's why it kind of cool to have Karlous mix it up. We do want a difference of an opinion, but like they said last episode, we just want to keep it respectful. And that's where our issue is with him. So it looks like next episode they are gonna actually get to turn up. They're gonna have some people there. We're gonna go see JR's funky ass is gonna be there. It looks like Saucy gonna get in trouble. Saucy gonna be the Ray J this season, y'all. I can see it for sure. And it looks like all of them are failing one class. I said, is this poli-sci? Baby, no, hell no to the no. I try not to make these too long. I appreciate you guys coming through and checking me out. Please make sure you guys are leaving a comment in the comment section, sharing this video where you share your videos, helping your girl get to 500 ASAP, okay? I say July 15th because we're trying to get to the 1K by the end of the year. I appreciate you all guys all ever so kindly. I do a bunch of different things on my channel, so if you guys don't mind clicking around and seeing what's there, I got Power Book 2 Ghosts. I did a live recap for that, so please make sure that you guys are checking that out. I'm also going to try to get my watch list up before the end of the month. Don't judge me. And just keep your notifications on as always, as I love to bring you some new and exciting content. I appreciate you all, and I will see you guys in the next video.